Well, going everybody. Today was one of those days where I really just started very slow, very methodical, very intentional, very at my own pace. And sometimes when we start the day, when we start the morning, we want it to be the exact same every day, but it's not going to be the exact same every day. It's going to be a little different. It's going to look a little different every day. Every day is a new day. It's going to look very different every day. And I think to be mindful of that every day is going to be different is a very powerful thing for you to even do as an individual. And that's a part of really rewiring your conscious and subconscious beliefs about how things are going to show up, how you're going to show up. And I want to talk about today specifically about changing the way we see ourselves internally. And I believe that a lot of us have a lot more insecurities than we would actually like to admit. And that included myself, which I'm working more towards every single day. And it's okay, because none of us are perfect. Make sure you grab your tea. But conscious rewiring has to do with conscious and subconscious rewiring has to do with you actively making the decision to change the way you think about yourself. Our self-image can be so negative sometimes that we don't even realize it ourselves. Other people realize our insecurities sometimes before we even realize it on our own, which is absolutely insane. That other people can see our reality of our internal environment before we do. And I think it has to do a lot with us rejecting the fact that there's things wrong with us. Rejecting the fact that there's things we want to work on or need to work on. We put that to the side. We put it in our subconscious mind. We put it in our back brain. And we no longer want to think about it anymore. But the crazy part is, what's done in the dark always comes to the light. So you kind of have three versions of yourself. You have a future version of yourself. You have a present version of yourself. And you have a past version of yourself. And all of those come together and they form into the person that you are now. That's if you allow it. I believe when you start operating in a space where you're more so in the present version of yourself, that is where change truly happens. Change happens only in the present moment because the past already happened. The future's not even here yet. And right now is the only time that we have. But we can either get stuck in a lot of these time continuums. We can be stuck in the past, not forgetting about what has happened to us and being the person that either our parents raised us to be or our experiences raised us to be. I believe in experiences, we get raised to be the person that we are as well, which can be very toxic. It can be very toxic for us to live in the past version of ourselves because we're continuing to live in the experiences that are no longer in the current moment. We're using the past as a way to live in the present, which is not good, which causes a lot of turmoil in your life, unnecessary turmoil, which also play into the image of yourself. The past version of you is playing into the image of you right now. If you're living in the past and you're stuck on being the past version of yourself, you're inhibiting yourself from even becoming a new version of yourself. If you're continuing to live in the past, you're continuing to live through your old experiences. And some comments could be like, well, that's just what I'm used to. This is just who I am. That's just how I've always done things. That sound familiar to you? Have you ever said any of those comments like that? Because I have, for sure, right? But there's also danger and living in the future version of you, looking forward to this or expecting this to go a certain way and wanting things to go down a certain route that you think they're going to. But sometimes we have no role in what the universe and what God has to say about us and what's going to happen in our future moments. So like I said, there's a future, there's a present, there's a past version of you, which all come together to collectively be you right now. But we have the decision to decide, I'm going to be this present moment right now version of myself. Meaning that I'm going to create and cultivate a version of myself that I want to be right now in this moment. I'm going to make an active decision every day, every second, every moment in this time right now to be that version of me. If I want to be more loving, I'm more loving. I claim that. I am. I am is a godly statement. I am is being of a godly form. A lot of us don't realize this, but God exists within us. God is not something that is apart from us. It is part of us. Did you get that? It is not something that is apart from us. It is something that is part of us. We all have God within us. You know, I'm taking this astronomy class, and I've been learning quite a few things about the universe. And when the universe was first created, right, there was this thing, it's called the Big Bang. And what happened was this huge explosion in the universe that created all these galaxies, and it created our solar system, which we exist in right now. Isn't that kind of crazy? We're literally living on a big spinning or orbiting ball of life, right? And the Big Bang was this explosion of this huge star, supposedly. It's a hypothesis. And everything that happened from that explosion was the residue from stardust. God, the universe, we're all a part of it. We're made out of atoms. We're made from the same source as God. So don't believe that you're not. You are of the same source as God. God lives within you. God is a part of you. The universe is a part of you. So with that, we have to make sure that we control our internal environment in order to be the best version of ourselves that we can possibly be or want to be. And we have to choose that in the present moment. One way to really start to actively change this, because sometimes we're wired in a way that is so innate to us, wired in a way that is so, I want to say, it happens without us actually trying to be a certain way. We get triggered, right? Triggers are things that come up from the subconscious that we didn't even know was there, and we react off of something. We don't respond, we react. One way to work on getting at the subconscious brain and getting at the past version of you is actively doing exercises before bed. Before you go to bed, you're in a state of calm. You're in a state of relaxing. So when you get into bed, you can do things where you imagine and you think and you feel and you are the version of you that you want to become, and you create a mental image of yourself. Do you understand, like I mentioned before, what's done in the dark comes to light? Do you understand, even if you don't tell anyone your insecurities, if you're constantly feeling those insecurities, that is what you are. That is what you consistently are. And the crazy part is, like I mentioned before, is that people can see that. People can feel when we're not being authentic. You ever realize that? You ever felt really off about somebody? You're like, nah, it's something about that guy that's just like, it don't sit right with me. That's because as human beings, we can literally feel if someone's being legitimate or not. So please understand that It doesn't matter what other people think about us. It matters what you think about yourself. Because at the end of the day, how you feel about yourself will be reflected back onto those people, and they will have no choice but to feel about you how you feel about yourself. If you are confident, people will see you as confident. If you are secure in yourself, people will see you as secure in yourself. If you truly do love yourself, people will see that you love yourself in a positive light. All these things go towards changing the self-image that you have of yourself. Continue to change the self-image that you have of yourself. It's so important. If you actually want to be the version of yourself that you actually know that you can be, you have to change the self-image. Because all these negative thoughts about who you are, it all stems from somewhere, because you didn't feel like that when you were born. It's your experiences. It's you living through the past version of you. And let me ask you this. How can we expect God, the universe, to do anything for us if we actually don't even believe it ourselves? It starts with you. It starts with you believing in yourself, because we are all a part of the universe. God is a part of us. As I said, God is a part of us. Not without, it's within. And it's about your belief of that. So, heck with all these insecurities, man. It's time for us to really start developing a more healthy relationship within ourselves and really actively doing the work to do so. You can do those steps, like I said, before bed, imagining who you are. And if that doesn't work for you, affirmations are always amazing. Affirmations such as, I am beautiful, I am strong, I am secure. The negative thought, turn it into a positive thought. When you have those moments where you feel anxious, immediately in that moment, I am strong, I am worthy, I am valuable, I am godly. In those moments of self-doubt, in those moments of self-disbelief, we have to turn those moments around, because we have to reject everything that isn't aligned with the present version of ourselves. And I promise you, when you start rejecting all thoughts that aren't aligned with the present version of yourself, you will see a huge shift in your life. Everything will abundantly change for you. It will. This is inner alchemy. This is true self-discovery. And when I speak on self-love, this is the highest form of self-love. You getting aligned with yourself and being the highest form and version of yourself that you could possibly be is alchemy. Is godly. Because we are all formed from stardust. You know, we are all formed from stardust. The Big Bang, it's a legit scientific study. It's a form. We are forms and we are godly. So don't forget that. Don't forget that you are godly. You deserve all things and abundantly. Remember that. Before you leave, I just want you to remember you are love, you are light, and everything that you seek is within you. And I'm going to read you a little short something from this book I really like. I read this every day. This is the thoughtful wisdom for every day. 365 Days of Love, Kindness, Healing, Faith, and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. I bought this at a bookstore. I don't know if you can get it on Amazon. But today's April 4th. It says, it is good to fear God, which I actually don't believe you should fear God. Like we said, we're all godly and part of, but whatever. Here we go. It is better to love God. The best is to grasp that God is inside of you. What is God? God is an internal being and is in everything I feel a part of. Wow. We all come to God sooner or later. Meaning you come in alignment with yourself. We all come to God sooner or later, whether we want to or not. You ever realize it's either in moments of near death or pain or something drastic happens, and that's when people come into alignment with self, God, godly essence, right? God exists inevitably for every person. When you understand yourself as a separate being, then you understand other people. When you understand that everything is connected, then you understand God. Wow. When you understand that everything is connected, all life forms are connected. We have the ability to understand both. We can understand people, and we can understand that everything is all connected all at once. Through love, that is, by expanding one's limits, a human being can become closer to God. Love is not just a quality of God, but also an ability of humans. We all have thoughts, feelings we want to share with others. You may feel it's impossible, that no one else will understand, but you still have to share. And I want you to take away from this, make sure you share yourself. Be yourself. Because remember what I said, people are going to see you for who you actually are anyway. People are going to know something's up. But when you show up as yourself, that's the most beautiful thing that you could possibly do for yourself and other people. Because that is the most godly, connected thing. And I know I said we're going to get out of here, but give me one more moment. I realized I was able to come in more connection with God and you know, everything around me. When I built that alignment with myself, when I finally accepted who I was, or when I finally figured out who I was, the alignment between me and God, everybody else, was simple. When you start to further get to the alignment with who you are, everything else in the world is easy. But remember that you can't expect God outside of you to do anything for you if you don't accept the God within you. Ashe. I'll see you guys next time. Make sure you come back. Follow me on Instagram and check out my podcast. It's called The Light of Jah as well. Same as the YouTube. I'll see you guys next time. I hope you enjoy.